Jared Ray from Joystiq.com, and this is the Halo 3 trailer analysis.
You are, all of you, vermin.
The voice we're hearing throughout the opening sounds a lot like the Prophet of Truth, who was one of the Covenant leaders who escaped at the end of Halo 2. Now here we have Sergeant Johnson being attacked by a brute, and I'm not saying Johnson is the only black dude in Halo. I'm just saying he's the only black dude with white camo pants. Anyways, the brute here is a bit higher on the food chain than most, and you can tell by his headdress and armor. The weapon on his back, though it looks like a rifle, it's actually the hammer, and you'll see them swinging that thing around later. And this is what the Prophet is talking about, the glassing of the planet. The thing you have to understand about the Covenant is that they don't actually attack to conquer, they attack to destroy. And by heating up the planets, they essentially shatter them, well, like glass. It sounds a bit more immediate in the novels compared to what you're seeing here, but the effect, it all seems the same. We get our first glimpse of the Chief here, though nothing terribly interesting. The environment in this shot appears to be the same as the last campaign screenshot that Bungie released. You've got the nice skybox and what appears to be Mount Kilimanjaro in the background, signifying that they're down near Mombasa. This would mark the first occasion that civilians have ever appeared in a Halo game, so let's just hope that they don't get in the way. You can see the Chief popping in the view back there, along with the Blue Elite. You're going to see this a lot as we go on, making me think that when the Arbiter isn't around, Player 2 will take control of this random Elite. You've probably already noticed this, but the name Traxxas is all over this trailer. It definitely has some significance, as Traxxas is an AI from the Marathon series that, while never seen, was notorious for his fit of rampancy. And, seeing as how one crazy AI is playing a huge role in Halo 3, it seems like an appropriate nod. Here's our first shot of the Arbiter in action alongside the Chief, both of whom are sporting the mountable chain guns that we all got to play around with in the beta. We already knew that the two of them were going to form some sort of alliance, but it's great to see in action. Another in a series of firsts in this trailer is the longsword fighter flying over towards what appears to be the Ark. I don't remember actually seeing it in Halo 2, but it was definitely the ship that Master Chief used to escape with at the end of the original Halo. We've seen Elite sporting jetpacks in Halo 2, so I guess they must have passed the tradition down to their aerial challenged cousins here. And you may have already noticed it, but after getting shot in the crotch here, the brute appears to drop what looks to be equipment, and that will become much more important later on. Now, I swear we've seen this before, but in the upper left-hand corner here, you can see a fourth grenade type. And now, class, if you'd please open your Art of Halo books to page 115, you'll see an unused grenade type that looks exactly like this, labeled as the Super Double Cap Bomb. And from the description, it appears to just, be a flash grenade, only with sparks. You guys like sparks, right? I mean, they're what make games next-gen, after all. Here we get our first glimpse of hunters in Halo 3. One thing to notice here is that when they're hit, you can actually see chunks of their armor flying off. And seeing as how they're made of a bunch of different organisms kind of fusing together, I'm kind of hoping that we'll get to see a peek at their gooey insides. Drones are back for Halo 3, and they seem to have a bizarre new habit of picking up poor Marines. At first I actually thought that these were keel bugs, which were a Covenant race that was planned for Halo 2 but never made it. Their purpose was to pick up dead bodies and essentially clean out battlefields. But after getting a closer look at him once he drops the Marine, yeah, it's definitely a drone. Miranda Keys is back, and holy f***, she is a badass. It's hard to say where she's located in this shot, but it's definitely a Forerunner origin. And I see a lot of folks out there saying that she has a new haircut, but it really just looks like her old one, only rendered probably the way it was supposed to be originally. Hey, you came here for a hardcore analysis of Halo, right? So I'm gonna analyze her hair. And dare I say, she looks fabulous. 343 Gilded Spark does his best R2-D2 impression in what appears to be a transmission of Cortana's current situation. She's obviously not doing too good, but hey, she's on her third makeover, so give her a break. Again, Arbiter and Chief are here, along with what looks like a new style of Elite in the back. It's a great shot, but you can't really pull much from it right now. Here we see a higher-ranking brute than before, but more importantly, a new equipment type up in the upper left-hand corner. It's hard to say what it is. Bungie's already said that each equipment would be very specific and very unique from one another, so although it kind of looks like a shield door, I'm pretty sure that's out of the question. Oh, also, Michael over at Seven Sins sent us this tip as well, so, thanks for recognizing us as a bunch of Halo nerds. You'd almost think for a second that this is a new weapon, but just the fuel rod cannon. It was available in the single-player games of Halo, but it never made it into the multiplayer outside of the PC version of Combat Evolved. We don't actually get to see it fired here, so unfortunately we can't tell if it's any different. God willing, it is. Now this is fascinating. Over here on the left-hand side, you can see what appears to be the Prophet of Truth in a hologram state. If you remember, they did this a lot in Halo 2, so they could, transmit their messages from the safety of wherever. If anything, this sort of goes to show just how, massive the presence of the Covenant is during Halo 3. This was a bit surprising to see. Obviously, the Brute just deployed a bubble shield, so I guess, the old adage from the previous Halo games applies to Halo 3 in that all the equipment you have access to, the enemies have access to as well. Ray Pistol. Here we have the Chief, Sergeant Johnson, an ODST Marine, and what is the first glimpse of a Halo that we've seen yet. And either Bungie went really nuts on the bloom lighting, or there is something seriously messed up with this one. It's hard to pull much from this, but you can see a nice big Forerunner symbol over on the surface. It's probably because it's really late and I'm really tired, but is it just me, or are these Marines shooting at this Phantom, and the grunts are there just kind of looking at it like they want to do it too? I don't know, I'm probably crazy, but it's one of those things that I just randomly noticed. And that about wraps us up. The rest of the trailer is pretty self-explanatory, so enjoy the rest of it, and thanks for watching.